Okay, so we are going to start by taking kind of what we learned last class and applying it. Okay, this is a little review. So remember last class we were looking at, we're trying to find the area, or we're trying to find the square root of 54. And what that means is if the area inside here is 54, we want to know this length because this would be root 54 and this would be root 54. Now, but what we remember from last class was there was a simpler way to say this. We want to extract the perfect square out of here. So what we did was we looked at 54 and we looked at what are two things that multiply to give me 54. Well, I can say anything, right? So if I think about 54 as an even number, so 54 divided by 2, 2 times 27. 54 divided by 3, 3 times 18. 54 divided by 4, that's a decimal, so we don't want to use that. 54 divided by, well, 5 is not going to work. What about 6? Yep. So 6 times 9, okay? And so if we look at these, we could start with any of these. But what I notice is that this one has a perfect square in it. If you can see that, then use that. So I'm going to take the square root of 9 and then 6. And what some people said was, where does that square root go? Well, it's still there, right? We just wrote root 54 in a different way, and we wrote that as root 9 times 6. So now I can break 6 down into 3 and 2, but there's no perfect square in that. So I can write this as root 9 times root 6. And then I look at this and I say, can I find the square root of either of these? Are they perfect squares? And root 9 is equal to 3. Root 6 is just a yucky decimal, and so we're going to leave it root 6. This becomes our answer. What this means is root 54 is the same as 3 root 6. Now, just as an aside, if we had root 54, and let's say I had chosen 3 and 18, for example, fine. I would keep going, and 18 can break down into 9 and 2. 9 can break down into 3 and 3. And we bring everything down. And when I see this, I've got all these under my root. I've got a pair here, and these don't have buddies. So I can write that as root 9. And this just stays what it is multiplied together, which is root 6. And what you notice is we're at the same place here. So this got us here quicker, but I don't want you wasting a ton of time. If you don't see the perfect square, then just go to this. Oops, I'm sorry, you didn't see all of that. Just go to this. No big deal while you're doing it, okay? Okay, let's try it again. Now, some people say, well, but I like the guess and check. I like kind of working through this. Yeah, but when it's 432, it's kind of yucky, right? That's a big number. So all I want to do is think of anything that goes into this. And if I'm honest, 432 is not a number that translates easily for me. So the thing I noticed about this is that 432 is even because there's a 2 at the end. So I'm going to do that. 432 divided by 2. 216 times 2. And then 216, I wonder if 216 is divisible by 4. It is. And again, see, I can go in whatever order I want. 4 can break down into 2 and 2. 54, isn't 54 divisible by 9? Yep. 9 and 6. 3 and 3, because 3 times 3 is 9. And 6, 3 and 2. When I bring all my guys down, okay, remember this is all under a square root. I group my guys up. Okay, so this is root 4. This is root 9, because 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 3 is 9. This is root 3, and this is root 4. Root 4 is the same as 2. Root 9 is the same as 3. Root 3 is yucky, so we leave it. And root 4 is 2. And then my finishing simplification is always to group up my roots and group up my numbers outside of my root. So I have 3 numbers outside of my root. 2 times 3 is 6, times 2 is 12, root 3. And I can check this on the calculator. Square root of 432 is approximately 20.7846. And this better equal the same thing, 12 root 3. And it does. And so we're right. Okay, one more on this video. So if we turn the page and we look to the back, now what happens when there's a number outside? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ignore that 10, and I'm just going to over here look at 175. And again, two numbers that multiply. I notice that there's a 25 hidden in 75, and I'm thinking ahead, and I know 25 is a perfect square. So I say, okay, what works? So 175 divided by 25 is 7. Then I look at this and I say, well, that's a perfect square. I'm going to leave that. And this is not anything. I can't simplify that anymore. So I'm going to break that into my root. Root 25 and root 7. The square root of 25 is 5. There's my answer. Now, I'm not totally done though, right? Because root 175 is the same as saying 5 root 7, right? But we still have this 10 out here, and this operation's multiplication. So now I've got to group things up, and my final answer becomes 50 root 7. This is a common problem or a common mistake people make. They forget to multiply that number in there.